Welcome back to the Nan Rae studio. In the last video that we did, I showed you how to paint the rose, and it was the beginning of our learning how to construct a rose. And our finished rose looked like this. And at the end of the video, I mentioned that I wanted you to paint so many roses that you had muscle memory locked in, that you didn't need to look at a lesson, but that you could just paint the rose freely. That's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to be painting a rose. I'll be using the same colors, the same brushes, but this time I'm using a different paper. The paper I'm using is the landscape paper. You can use either Ma paper or P paper, but it's very thin and also very absorbent, and it can take a lot of punishment. So you can do background washes with this paper and a lot of fun things. So I'd like you to experiment not only with different brushes and different colors, but also using different papers. So let's begin painting the rose in a freer manner. And I'm going to be using a large orchid bamboo brush. And as I mentioned, I'll be using the same colors. I'm going to be starting out with permanent rose. Well, if you've ever used paper that we call landscape paper in brush painting, you've noticed that it receives the color or the tone a lot differently than the flower paper. In other words, it will, the colors will appear to be much paler. And also the colors, because of the sizing on the paper, sometimes the colors will stay on the surface of the paper before they're absorbed into it. What I'm going to be doing is painting a rose, my idea of a rose, in a much freer manner than I did before. And I want to see a lot of the white paper showing through, and I would like my brush in some areas to be drier. So let's begin. And this time I'm going to be working much faster. And here we go. And I'm just starting out by getting this color on the paper. My brush is very wet, and I'm thinking petals. I'm thinking rose petals, and happy rose petals. And I'm loving it when the brush will skip the paper and get that flying white going on. That's really my aim here. Okay? All right. So this is going to be the base of my rose. Let's get maybe something at the side. I don't know if you can see this. Try and do it so you can. Okay. And maybe something over here. All right. And then for the inside of the rose, I'm going to a deeper tone. I'm going to the alizarin crimson, and starting about midpoint, remember we have to know where home base is. Home base for our flower is going to be right about there. So I'm going to start out with a press down and push up, and keep pressing down and pushing up like so, getting that deep, deep, nice tone going on. So. And now I want a combination of the two to sort of integrate that area. And you'll notice that I'll start going over some of the areas with new tone. And I'm going to increase this deep area. Still with my dark tone towards the center. And at this point, I'm cleaning the brush, and I'm going to have the tip of the brush facing outward and just do a press down and pull in. And maybe swing around a bit. This is going to be one ginormous rose, isn't it? This could be a rose on steroids. What do you think? And remember, we did that bouncy before. Okay. Okay, so maybe just a little bit more definition is in order. Okay, now if you feel that your flower is close but no cigar, then what I suggest you do is a little line work to pull it together. And again, you can take your detail brush, and instead of staying within the boundaries of the petals that you created, I would go outside a bit, and that adds even more excitement to your painting. And some roses, you know, are variegated, so you might want to indicate that. Like so. And this needs a little balancing over here, and I'm just going to do it with some line work. This is a lot of fun. Okay. So remember, if you do detailing in one area, you've got to bring it around and do it in all areas. Okay. I've decided this could very well be Heaven's Heartbeat. This is quite an explosive rose, but I'm loving it because it's very expressive, it's impressionistic, and all it needs now is a few stamens, say about 30 in the center. And I'm just going to be adding those with a fine detail brush, and I'm using opaque white. And I can see that my brush is a little bit too dry, so I'll add a little more moisture. Get these just dry. And sometimes a flower can have a gazillion stamen, and it's up to you. You're the artist, and you need to decide how many you want to indicate. So I'm thinking that I'm pretty content now. So I'm going to call it a rose, and I'm going to say that I'm quite pleased, and I hope you are as well. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. It was so much fun to do. And I do hope that once you get the rose locked in your muscle memory so that you can really paint with abandon and freedom, and that you can express your inner self. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.